Markevius Mingo has a problem. They're going to have to scheme to get him free. He's not that strong. They're going to have to scheme to get him free. On the other side, you really don't have anybody. Desmond Bryant, is best inside with Rubin and Taylor. Rotate those guys. I would put Kruger on the left, and I think a 3-4 is at best a stopgap type of defense. If it were me, I would go with a cover 2, where you can man up the outside, where you man up on the outside with your cornerbacks. Let that be whatever it is. So if they're going to go after Gilbert, let them. He's got to grow up fast, because if you're going to play a defense where you need him to perform, then you'll find out quickly whether or not he'll be a good player or not. But I would go to a cover 2 where you have opportunities to man up on the outside, Hayden on one side. They're not going to mess with him. They're going to come to Gilbert, so give him some help. And then I'd probably go with a 4-3 alignment maybe, or I'd probably go with a multiple defense where you can go 3-4, 4-3, wide 9, all of it. And I would then put probably Sheard on the right with Armonte Bryant, because those guys are ball players and pass rushers and athletes. They got speed, a modicum of size, a modicum of strength, and let Kruger hold down and set the edge on the left, because he's strong enough to hold up offensive tackles, but quickly and athletic enough to get around them and then go get the passer on the way to stopping the run, or while stopping the run on the way to the passer. So there's a lot of things I see, and I hope Cleveland sees it before it's too late, because they have the start of a promising season if they just make the proper adjustments. And they're not going to change their defense, but they can play different sets, different defenses more than others. And I think if they're not set on playing one particular defense, I think they'll be all right. And, of course, they're on the offense, they're all right as long as, like I told you, as long as Ryan Hoyer plays a clean position of quarterback. If he plays clean, he doesn't have to be Brady or Drew Brees or Peyton Manning. He doesn't have to do that. All he has to do is play clean and make some plays, get Josh Gordon back, and then, as they say, all bets are off.
Yeah. But, and he plays steady. I mean, on the road, him being the quarterback is what I like, because he's going to be able to handle the distractions. He's going to be able to handle all the gaga that comes with being on the road. The last road game the Browns won he was the quarterback, and as a matter of fact, they won that game even with Brian Hoyer far from his best. And that was the game he threw a couple of picks against Denver and still won that game. But yeah, I think that stabilizes things there too. You brought up the corners. I mean, you don't have the world's best wideouts on the other side, but you do got some decently talented guys like Kendall Wright's over there. Justin Hunter's a guy that I think is slowly going to continue to excel there. But I agree with you. The quarterback play, I don't care if you're talking about Locker or Whitehurst, you shouldn't let yourself get beat by either one of those guys. And the key to me is how you're not going to change the defense, like you said, but any tweaks that they made on the run defense, because they got 4 very capable running backs over there that you mentioned, that all of them can gash you. It doesn't matter if you're talking Green, doesn't matter if you're talking about Sankey, Washington. They've got a bunch of guys that can get you, and the Browns have been one place where Tennessee can definitely hurt them. And Walker, you have to make sure that you take care of business with him, because that's your real pass game threat right there. Last couple of weeks, like you said, he's just been an absolute monster for those guys over there. But I'm with you. I think the Browns can win this game. I think they will win this game. I think they're going to go. I think Tennessee, they're not going to let them off the hook. I expect them to go and get after them early. I don't expect a blowout or anything like that, but I think the Browns running game in the second half to allow them to carry that thing to a road victory. And speaking of that real quick, Ben Tate coming back, what would you do with how do you mix up the reps? Because you obviously brought him here for a reason. He's coming back into things most likely this week. Looks like he's going to be the starter. So I like how he catches passes out of the backfield. I like some of the stuff he brings you. We've seen good stuff out of Crowell and out of West as well. So somebody's going to get squeezed there, obviously. But how do you see them getting into easing Tate back in, or do they just throw him back in there this week and he is your number one guy?
Well, not this week, because of the fact that he's more fragile than those other two rookies, and I think those rookies have a higher ceiling than does Ben Tate at this point. So what I would do if I were getting Ben Tate back, I'd put him into a rotation, and I'd try for the first half of games, okay? I'd probably, I mean, if it means something to him to start, I know Terrence West and Isaiah Crowell could care less right now. I think it means something to Tate. I'm not casting any aspersions on what kind of person he is, what kind of teammate, competitor, and any of that. But it should mean something to you to start, and it may not necessarily say something if you could care less. That's just how we're wired. That's how we gyrate. But I think if I were Mike Pettinat starting, and then I'd monitor very closely his carries, I'd try to get him about 15 carries. As a matter of fact, if it were me, I'd try to get all three of them 15 touches and or carries in a game. So that would be the bulk of what I was doing. The opportunity for Brian Hoyer to feel as though he has to win a game. Now, I'm not saying that Brian Hoyer cannot make plays. I believe that he can. I think his arm is strong enough. I believe that Brian Hoyer is good enough to win with in the regular season. Whether he's good enough to win with in the playoffs, that's putting the cart before the horse, so I wouldn't worry about that. But I would definitely try to lessen his opportunity to mess it up and to feel as though he had to make big plays in order for the team to do well or for the team to win. I'm convinced that with that stable of running backs, between those three, if they run and catch passes and out of the backfield and do their thing, it comes down to pass protection for Hoyer. It comes down to timely passes, and it comes down to defense. The same things I told you at to be able to play cleanly, get good rock, and play defense. Now, the one thing I have not seen is the defense, but I'm convinced that they have a chance. Hopefully, adjustments get that done.
All right, last word, Kendall.
Hard to say. I don't know. I don't prognosticate very well. I would say my guess would be, because of Barity at quarterback, I think Tennessee has an excellent defense. They've got a nice mix of veterans and a good coach. I like Ken Wisenhunt. I like his philosophy. I like Ray Horton's defense. The key will be for the Browns, if they can blitzes that Horton has, if they can hold up, I think the targets that they have, Miles Austin, Taylor Gabriel, those young fellas, I think they'll be able to get open. If they catch the ball, they'll have opportunities. On the other side, if Cleveland can cover Kendall Hunter and Justin Kendall forgot his name.
You flipped him. Kendall Wright and Justin Hunter.
Kendall Wright and Justin Hunter. Thank you.
Yeah.
If they can beat those guys up, I think they'll be all right. But there's plenty of danger in this game. Make no mistake about it. And if they fool around and put Mettenberger in the game and let him do what he can do naturally, I think you've got another problem. So I wouldn't necessarily say Cleveland's going to win. I would say there's an opportunity to win. And based on the quarterback play, I would give the slightest of edges to the Cleveland Browns.
All right, Kendall, my man, another great conversation. Had fun. Man, our time flies by when we're on here. We could do this for the whole 2 hours, just you and me, my man. Enjoy this weekend's NFL action. Week 5 kicks off tonight, and we'll catch up next week. We'll see if the Browns got to 500. I mean, you got the Steelers looming on the other side. There's a big difference between going in there 2-2 and feeling good, 1-3 and feeling bad. So let's see what happens. You and I will talk about it all next week, my man.
All right, J-Rock. You guys take care.
You too. Kendall Lewis. You guys can tweet with them at the BSK Says on Twitter. We're going to take a break, get the news, come back with Mike Brandenberry from Did the Tribe Win Last Night? Coming up next here on the Sports Fix. We'll talk some Tribe, some baseball, BJ Rudell, fantasy football still to come. Thanks to Kendall Lewis. We're going to take a break. Be right back on the other side of the news.
at the Sports Fix want to make all of your dreams come true.
What about my dream?
Edith, I told you I can't build your candy house. It will fall down. The sun will melt the candy. It won't work.
It will if it never rains.
Oh, maybe not all of them. Get your fix on the Sports Fix.
This is head coach Gary Waters at Cleveland State, and you're listening to the Sports Fix.
Whether it's an oil change or a new set of tires, Quick Lane at Valley Ford Truck has you covered for your automotive car care needs. They're your neighborhood quick service experts. They also offer a low price tire guarantee. Choose from 13 brands, and if you find the same tires at a lower price within 30 days, Quick Lane at Valley Ford will refund the difference. They're open late Monday through Thursday until 9 p.m. and open early Saturday so you can check it off your to-do list and get on with your day. They also have a newly remodeled service lounge and additional service bay just for Quick Lane oil changes. Quick Lane at Valley Ford Truck is located at 5715 Canal Road, right under the 480 bridge in Valley View, just down the road from Independence. 5715 Canal Road, right under the 480 bridge in Valley View, just down the road from Independence. Come see why life is better in the Quick Lane. QuickLane.com/Valley Ford Truck. That's QuickLane.com/Valley Ford Truck.
Business owners and professionals, do you want to take your business, your product, your team, your event to the next level? You want to advertise right here with the Sports Fix. Our listeners are among the most loyal listeners, terrestrial or internet. The Sports Fix universe is not only the radio show, but tens of thousands of fans on Facebook and Twitter. Email me, Jerry Myers, thesportsfix@AOL.com. That's thesportsfix@AOL.com. And let me help you swing for the fences and hit it out of the park right here on the Sports Fix.
The Sports Fix is now available every day on the world's largest internet radio service, iHeartRadio. Download the free iHeartRadio app, subscribe to the show, and get your fix.
News break.
His name sounds like he ought to be a character in The Great Gatsby, but Jay Gatsby could never pitch like Madison Bumgarner. Last night in Pittsburgh, the 25-year-old southpaw pitched a 4-hitter and struck out 10 in the Giants' 8-0 win over the Pirates in the National League wildcard game. He may be only 25, but he had already made 6 previous postseason starts.
I think it helped a lot, just being out there in the big games like that, and just knowing that you've been success that we've had. That made a big difference for me. For me, I have to push all the nerves and anxiety aside and find a way just to concentrate on pitching.
Brandon Crawford hit a grand slam and Brandon Belt drove in 3. The Tigers won 5 of 6 this season with the Orioles. Detroit visits Baltimore tonight, Game 1 American League Division Series. 5 Eastern Time on ESPN Radio. The Royals and Angels split their 6 meetings this year. They meet tonight in Anaheim, Game 1 of their division series, 8:30 Eastern on ESPN. Billman is being investigated in connection with a sexual assault. Yahoo Sports reporting the NCAA is investigating the Mississippi football and women's basketball program.
For over 60 years, Ferguson has been the name that pro contractors count on for plumbing, HVAC, waterworks, and more. They have the right products and the right people right around the corner. Put them to work for you at
Now, back to the Sports Fix.
We belong together, and you know that I'm right. Why do you play?
Welcome back to the Sports Fix, live here on the sportsfix.net and across the Sports Fix Radio Network. And Jerry Myers, J-Rock, whatever you want to call me. Don't call me happy to be hearing this song in the background a couple of weeks ago. And even though we're a week late and $1 short, man, I had to give it to him, man. End of the Indian season since the last time Mike and I talked. And I told you guys earlier in the show, so I'm not just saying this because Mike's on the hotline, but already they've begun a great job of breaking down and looking back at the Indian season and getting you ready for next year. They've got a whole lot more under wraps getting ready to roll out in the month of October for didthetribewinlastnight.com. I'm telling you, if you're an Indians fan, I behoove you guys to make sure that you bookmark them. Although, most likely did. Hey, guys, phones are still not open. I apologize. It's one of Thursdays. Open phones until the very end part of the show. But when they are open, 216-539-7535. In the meantime, tweet with us at the Sports Fix CLE. Email us, the Sports Fix at Mike Brandenberry.